what if stress isn't the enemy? What if every deadline, every racing heartbeat, every sleepless night, is actually a doorway to peace? The Buddha never promised that life would be free of hardship. He pointed out that even suffering can become a teacher, if we know how to listen. Stress is like rolling thunder, frightening at first, but also a sign that rain is coming to nourish the earth. Likewise, your stress may be the signal for you to pause, breathe, and come back to yourself. Imagine waking up with a heavy mind, feeling behind before the day even begins. Your phone buzzes with a flood of messages, work piles up like a mountain, and deep inside a whisper says, "You won't make it." Stress has become the constant background noise of life. We drink coffee to power through, scroll endlessly to escape, and promise ourselves that one day, maybe on vacation, maybe when everything finally calms down, we'll find peace. But do you see, peace never arrives that way. Buddhism offers a very different view. Stress doesn't need to be eliminated completely. Instead, it can be transformed. Like the lotus rising from the mud, pressure and tension can become the soil that nourishes stillness. In this video, we'll explore 7 Buddhist lessons for modern life, each one a practical way to face stress with mindfulness, compassion, and presence. And by the end, you'll realize, stillness doesn't wait for you at the finish line, it's already here, in every breath, every pause, every moment you dare to just be yourself. Have you ever wondered, maybe stress is trying to tell you something? We often see stress as an enemy to eliminate. But if we change our perspective, we'll see, stress is a signal, a message, a teacher. It doesn't show up to ruin your life, it's there to remind you it's time to pause, listen, and make a change. The Buddha taught that suffering, dukkha, isn't only misfortune, it's also a path to awakening. Without restlessness, we might never long for peace. Without feeling lost, we might never recognize the value of coming home. Like fire that can burn but also warm and illuminate, stress can feel heavy, but it can also be the starting point of awareness. Picture a car's dashboard. When the red light flashes, it's not against you, it's warning. The car needs rest, needs care. Ignore it, and the car will break down. Stress in the body and mind is the same warning light. It's not the enemy, it's a signal to care for yourself. When your heart races and palms sweat before a meeting, stress is reminding you you're overly anxious and need to breathe deeply. When you're constantly wiped out after work, stress signals that your body needs rest. When you snap at loved ones, stress is telling you your mind needs release. If you treat stress as the enemy, you'll hate and suppress it. If you treat it as a teacher, you'll listen and learn from it. Neuroscientists note that stress activates the sympathetic nervous system, heart rate rises, muscles tense, the body prepares to fight or flee. If stress drags on, the body wears down. But in moderation, stress serves as an alarm bell, alerting us to change our lifestyle, habits, and thinking. Psychology research also shows, people who reframe stress, seeing it as a signal rather than a threat, tend to burn out less and recover faster from pressure. You can try a 1-minute body check-in. Close your eyes, inhale deeply, exhale slowly. Move your attention over your forehead, shoulders, chest, abdomen, hands. Notice where you feel tight or heavy. As you exhale, gently say inside, "I hear you." Just 1 minute, and you've shifted from fighting stress to learning from it. Stress isn't a foe to destroy, it's a teacher sending you signals. When we listen, stress becomes a doorway into peace. Amid all the relentless concerns, have you ever forgotten that you're breathing? Breath seems obvious, but it's the bridge between tension and stillness. When the mind is chaotic, returning to the breath is the simplest way to find stability in the present. In the Buddhist tradition, there is anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing. The Buddha taught, when breathing in, know you are breathing in. When breathing out, know you are breathing out. That alone is enough to bring us back to body, back to mind, back to the present moment, where calm is always available. Imagine an oil lamp in a strong wind. Without a glass shade, the flame goes out quickly. With a shade, it keeps burning, despite the storm outside. Breath is that shade for the soul. No matter how chaotic the world becomes, if we return to our breath, the flame of inner peace can still shine bright. You get an urgent email, heart racing, thoughts spiraling. If you don't stop, stress will sweep you away. But if you breathe in deeply and exhale slowly, you give yourself a pause to see things more clearly. In conflict, breath can be the reset button that keeps you from getting carried away by anger. Medical studies show, when we breathe slowly and deeply, the parasympathetic nervous system activates, heart rate slows, blood pressure lowers, the whole body relaxes. Techniques like box breathing, 4-4-4-4, are used in the military and in healthcare to help people stay calm in high-stress situations. Try box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Hold empty for 4 seconds. Repeat 4 to 5 rounds. Within minutes, your heart rate slows, your mind softens, and the outer chaos seems to recede. When we breathe consciously, we don't just bring oxygen into the lungs, we bring life back to the heart. In the midst of chaos, breath is the shortest path back to the peace that's already within. Have you noticed, no emotion lasts forever, not even stress? One reason we burn out is believing stress will go on indefinitely. But in truth, everything is impermanent. Emotions arise, linger for a while, and pass. If we see stress through the lens of impermanence, it loses its grip. The Buddha taught anicca, impermanence. Nothing lasts, everything changes moment by moment. Even pain, worry, and tension, they come, and they fade. When we realize this, we stop identifying with emotions. We no longer say, I am stress, but simply, I am experiencing stress. Imagine the sky and the clouds. Stress is like dark clouds, dense, heavy. But no matter how thick they get, the vast sky remains behind them. Sooner or later, clouds part and light returns. You are not the dark clouds, you are the wide sky that can hold both clouds and sun. You worry before a presentation. After it's over, the tension dissolves. You're stressed by a conflict. A few days later, the feelings settle and the situation no longer feels so heavy. You're tense over an unanswered text. A week later, you barely remember it. Stress always passes. It's the mind's clinging that makes us think it will last forever. Research shows, a strong emotion typically lasts only 60 to 90 seconds, unless we keep feeding it with thoughts. For example, anger can fade within a minute, but if we repeat, "He disrespected me," in our heads, it can last hours or days. Same with stress, it would naturally move on, but we hold it in place with worry and overanalysis. Try observing emotions like passing clouds. Close your eyes, breathe evenly. When stress appears, name it. This is tension. Picture it as a cloud drifting across the sky of your mind. Don't push it away, don't hold it. Just watch it pass. In a few minutes, stress stops being a permanent enemy and becomes a fleeting phenomenon. When we understand impermanence, stress no longer imprisons us. We know all tension eventually dissolves, and in that clearing, stillness returns. Did you know that sometimes what we need isn't a long vacation, but a single mindful breath right now? We often think peace requires getting away, from work, from daily life. But the truth is, stillness is always present in tiny pauses, if we know to come back and recognize it. The Buddha taught mindfulness, being awake in simple actions. Walking, standing, lying down, sitting, all can be meditation. No need to wait for a special occasion. Mindfulness can be practiced while washing hands, drinking water, taking a step, or smiling. These pauses are like secret doors, opening a space of calm amid a hectic rhythm. A Zen master once said, "Between the pounding of war drums, there is always a moment of silence. If you find that silence, you'll discover peace even in the noise." Modern life is the same. the space of peace is always there between the rushing beats, if we know to stop and notice. When washing your hands, instead of hurrying, feel the cool water on your skin. When sipping water, instead of drinking while scrolling, pause and know the water is nourishing your body. When walking from one room to another, instead of thinking about the next task, feel your feet touching the ground. These moments don't take extra time, but they renew the mind. Research on micro-mindfulness shows brief 30 to 60-second pauses throughout the day can lower heart rate, calm the nervous system, and improve focus. Like mini charging stations for the brain, these pauses restore energy without leaving your work. Try a 3-step mindful pause. Pause, whatever you're doing. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, once is enough. Notice one thing around you, sound, light, or your breath. For example, while drinking water, stop, breathe, and feel the sip touch your lips. This is everyday meditation, simple, natural, deeply healing. We don't need to escape life to find peace. Peace is present in each moment, each small act, if we're brave enough to stop and truly live. Sometimes what hurts us isn't the first event, but the way we stab ourselves with a second arrow. In life, no one avoids difficulty, pressure, or loss. The Buddha called this the first arrow, natural pain we can't dodge. But we often shoot a second arrow at ourselves, blame, judgment, self-criticism. Stress already hurts, and our reaction piles on more pain. The Buddha taught, when struck by an arrow, we feel pain. But if we then complain, why me? I'm so weak. I deserve this, we've shot the second arrow. Peace comes when we stop at the first arrow and don't add any more. Imagine you drop a glass. That's the first arrow, the event happened, you can't change it. If you scold yourself, why am I so clumsy? I never do anything right. That's the second arrow. The glass is broken, but the self-attack hurts far more. You miss a deadline, first arrow. Instead of addressing it, you say, I'm useless, second arrow. You're criticized, first arrow. You replay it for days, feeling ashamed, second arrow. You make a small mistake, first arrow. You turn it into, I always fail, second arrow. If we can drop the second arrow, the pain diminishes dramatically. In psychology, this is called rumination, repetitive negative thinking. Research shows, rumination is a major driver of anxiety and depression, sometimes more painful than the initial event. Conversely, those who practice self-compassion recover faster from setbacks. When the brain receives kindness from ourselves, it releases oxytocin, reducing stress and increasing safety. Next time stress arises, try. Recognize, this is the first arrow, a difficult moment. Pause before judging. Place a hand on your heart, breathe deeply, and say, I'm hurting, and that's human. I don't need to fire a second arrow. One compassionate sentence can lift the burden of self-blame and give you space to heal. The first pain in life is hard to avoid. But the second pain, self-attack and judgment, is something we can let go. When we release the second arrow, we open a wide door to calm. Have you noticed, harshness toward ourselves only makes stress heavier? We often think we need to be tough, disciplined, perfect to overcome tension. But the truth is, what heals fastest isn't harshness, it's compassion. A gentle heart toward ourselves can turn pressure into an opportunity to grow. In the teachings there is karuna, compassion, the capacity to understand and soothe suffering, not just for others but for ourselves. The Buddha didn't teach us to deny difficulty, he encouraged us to hold it with gentleness. When we can say to ourselves, I'm human. I have fragile moments. I am worthy of love, stress stops being a burden and becomes a doorway back to kindness. A baby falls while learning to walk. The mother doesn't scold, why can't you walk yet? She lifts the child and soothes, it's okay, you'll get it. If gentleness can help a child stand, why not use the same gentleness with ourselves? We all carry an inner child, and that child doesn't need criticism, it needs compassionate arms. When you make a mistake, instead of scolding yourself, try, I did my best, and I can learn from this. When you're stressed for missing a deadline, acknowledge, I'm tired, and that's normal. When you see someone else in pain, listen with compassion instead of judging, they should be stronger. Neuroscience shows, practicing self-compassion activates brain regions that release oxytocin, the hormone of safety and bonding. At the same time, cortisol, the stress hormone, decreases. Psychologists find, people who are kind to themselves are less anxious, recover faster from failure, and sustain motivation longer. In other words, compassion doesn't make us weak, it's the deepest healing strength. Try the hand-on-heart practice. Sit quietly, close your eyes, breathe deeply. Rest a hand gently on your chest. As you exhale, whisper, may I be safe. May I be at peace. May I treat myself with gentleness. Repeat a few times, you'll feel your heart warm. Not because stress vanished, but because you just held it with compassion. Compassion isn't only for others. When we offer ourselves a little gentleness, we discover the most powerful medicine, and in compassion's embrace, stress becomes a chance for the heart to grow. What if, instead of hating stress, we learn to be grateful for it? How would life change? Stress is often seen as a sign of lack of time, money, or ability. But through the lens of gratitude, stress can remind us of what's precious in our lives. Gratitude doesn't erase difficulty, it transforms it into an opportunity to cherish life. There is a teaching called TRI-TUC, knowing enough. A person who knows enough isn't someone who has everything, but someone who sees the value in what they already have. The Buddha taught, the one who knows enough is the richest. When stressed, if we shift from scarcity to gratitude, the mind naturally settles. Someone complains, I'm packed onto the bus every day, it's miserable. A Zen teacher replies, but that bus lets you get to work and support your family. The person suddenly sees, what they complained about is actually a blessing. Stress stops being the enemy and becomes a chance to see the bright side. You're stressed by a busy job, it also means you're employed and trusted. You're tense caring for family, it also means you have loved ones to care for. You're tired from responsibility, it also shows you're living a meaningful life. When we turn stress into gratitude, we don't deny the pressure, we notice its light. Many studies show, daily gratitude practice reduces anxiety, improves sleep, and increases happiness. When the brain focuses on gratitude, it releases dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters of joy and contentment. Interestingly, those who regularly acknowledge gratitude aren't just happier, they're more resilient to stress. Try the 3 gratitudes in stress practice. When you feel stressed, pause for 1 minute. Inhale, exhale, then ask, in this situation, what can I still be grateful for? Write or say 3 things, even small ones. For example, I'm grateful I'm breathing. I'm grateful I have someone to talk to. I'm grateful I can learn from this challenge. In minutes, your mind shifts from cramped by pressure to spacious in appreciation. Stress is a natural part of life. But seen in the light of gratitude, it becomes fertile ground for peace. Because even amid tension, there are always small things worthy of thank you. We've walked through 7 Buddhist lessons to transform stress into stillness. But if we only listen and don't practice, these lessons will quickly fade in life's whirl. What matters is turning them into a way of living, simple, brief, deeply nourishing. Here is a stress to stillness routine, just 10 minutes a day, anywhere. Morning, body check-in, 1 minute. Right after waking, before grabbing your phone, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and gently scan your body. Are your shoulders tight? Is your belly heavy? Is your heart racing? Just listen, no judgment. Begin the day with presence. During the day, box breathing, 2 minutes. When tension spikes, try 4, 4, 4, 4. Inhale 4 seconds. Hold 4 seconds. Exhale 4 seconds. Hold 4 seconds. Repeat 4 rounds. Your body softens, your mind clears. When stress arises, watch it like a cloud, 2 minutes. When heavy feelings come, instead of pushing them away, name them. This is worry. This is tension. Picture them as clouds drifting across the sky. You are the sky, not the cloud. Built-in pauses, 1 mindful action, 1 minute. Choose 1 daily act to do with awareness, a sip of water, a few steps, washing your hands. Stop, breathe, fully show up. These are mini charging stations for the mind. When you make a mistake, drop the second arrow, 1 minute. When stressed by an error, remind yourself, this is only the first arrow. I don't need to fire a second. Hand on heart, breathe, forgive yourself. Before bed, self-compassion, 1 minute. Sit quietly, hand on chest, and whisper. May I be safe. May I be at peace. May I be gentle with myself. End of day, 3 gratitudes, 2 minutes. Write down or recall 3 things you're grateful for today. They can be tiny, a smile, a cup of tea, a short nap. Close the day with fullness, not lack. What matters isn't doing this perfectly, it's returning. Some days you'll remember 1 step, some days you'll do all 7. Every time you pause, breathe, feel gratitude, or practice compassion, you move from stress to stillness. This practice is like planting seeds of calm each day. At first small, but over time they grow into a garden of peace where you can shelter whenever storms roll in. We began this journey with a familiar reality, stress as a shadow that follows us. It shows up at work, in family, and in our quiet moments alone. We often think, only when stress is gone will we be at peace. But through 7 Buddhist lessons, we discover another truth. Stress can be a teacher, reminding us to stop and listen. Breath can be the bridge from chaos to calm. Impermanence reminds us stress is only a guest. Tiny pauses are doors into stillness. Letting go of the second arrow keeps us from deeper pain. Compassion becomes the deepest medicine. And gratitude turns pressure into a field of wholeness. Stress won't vanish completely. But when we change how we show up, it stops being a burden and becomes part of the river carrying us to a peaceful shore. Picture a storm, outside, fierce winds howl. But at the eye of the storm, there is always stillness. Our inner peace is the same, not out there, but at our own center. When you remember to return to breath, compassion, and gratitude, you'll see. Stillness has never left, it's always there, waiting to be noticed. If this video offers you a lighter breath, a quiet pause amid the busy churn, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel Buddhism Wisdom, Spirituality, hit like, and share. Someone, a friend, a coworker, a loved one, may need these gentle reminders right now. Each time you share peace, you're not only giving a gift to others. You're also nourishing peace in your own heart. And if you want to continue the journey, in the next video we'll explore another profound topic. Silence the inner critic, Buddhism and self-compassion. Because sometimes, it isn't work or circumstances that exhaust us. It's the inner voice, harsh, endlessly comparing, endlessly judging. When we learn to quiet that voice, we finally find true rest for the soul. Until then, remember. You don't have to wait for tomorrow to be still. Stillness is here, in every breath, every step, right now.